The studio lights beamed down on the set of The View, where the co-hosts were seated in their usual semicircle, ready for another lively episode. Whoopi Goldberg moderated with her signature calm demeanor, while Sunny Hostin and Sarah Haynes flanked her, notebooks in hand. The guest of the day was the legendary singer Chaka Khan, known for her powerful voice and hits like Ain't Nobody and I'm Every Woman. She entered the stage with a warm smile, dressed in a vibrant outfit that reflected her energetic personality. The audience erupted in applause as she took her seat next to Joy Behar, the outspoken comedian and longtime co-host. The conversation started lightly, with Whoopi asking Chaka about her recent tour and upcoming projects. Chaka shared stories from her decades in the music industry, laughing about encounters with other celebrities and the challenges of staying relevant in a changing world. Joy interjected with a joke about aging gracefully, which drew chuckles from everyone. But as the talk shifted to more serious topics like politics and social issues, the atmosphere began to thicken. Chaka expressed her views on women's rights and empowerment, drawing from her own experiences as a trailblazer in a male-dominated field. Joy, ever the provocateur, challenged her on certain points, questioning the effectiveness of celebrity activism in today's climate. Chaka responded passionately, defending her stance with anecdotes from her life. The exchange was civil at first, but Joy's persistent probing started to irk Chaka, who felt her words were being twisted. The other hosts tried to steer the conversation, but the tension was palpable. Sarah asked about Chaka's influences, hoping to lighten the mood, but Joy circled back to her earlier point, insisting on clarification. Chaka's face showed signs of frustration, her responses becoming shorter and more pointed. The audience sensed the shift, murmuring among themselves. Whoopi called for a commercial break, but the cameras kept rolling for a moment longer, capturing the uneasy glances. As they returned from break, the discussion resumed, but the spark had ignited into something more intense. Back on air, the panel delved deeper into current events, with Chaka Khan sharing her thoughts on the music industry's treatment of female artists, especially women of color. She spoke eloquently about the barriers she faced early in her career and how she overcame them through sheer determination and talent. Sunny Hostin nodded in agreement, adding legal perspectives on discrimination. But Joy Behar, with her characteristic bluntness, questioned whether Chaka's success was more due to luck than systemic change, suggesting that the industry had evolved significantly since the 1970s. Chaka's eyes widened in disbelief. She countered that while progress had been made, inequalities persisted, citing recent examples of pay disparities and lack of representation. Joy pressed on, referencing statistics she claimed supported her view, though Chaka disputed their accuracy. The back and forth escalated, with voices rising slightly. Whoopi attempted to mediate, reminding everyone that differing opinions make for great TV, but Chaka felt personally attacked, as if her lived experiences were being dismissed. Sarah tried to pivot to Chaka's philanthropic work, but Joy interrupted again, asking pointedly why Chaka hadn't been more vocal on certain political figures. Chaka leaned forward, her tone firm, explaining her choices and the risks involved for artists. The audience gasped at some exchanges, and social media began buzzing with clips shared in real time. Chaka's frustration mounted. She felt the interview was turning into an interrogation rather than a celebration of her achievements. Joy, undeterred, laughed off the tension, saying it was all in good fun, but Chaka didn't see it that way. Her body language shifted across arms, averted gaze signaling discomfort. The other hosts exchanged worried looks, sensing the segment was derailing. As the debate intensified over cultural appropriation in music, Chaka accused Joy of not fully understanding the nuances, drawing from her collaborations with diverse artists. Joy defended herself vigorously, citing her own background and interviews with musicians. The clash reached a boiling point when Joy made a comment about Chaka's past struggles with addiction, intending it as a point of resilience, but it landed poorly. Chaka's face hardened, and she paused, gathering her thoughts amid the studio's heavy silence. The argument took a sharper turn as Chaka Khan directly addressed Joy Behar's remark, stating that personal matters like her recovery journey were off-limits unless discussed respectfully. Joy apologized quickly, but added a qualifier that it was public knowledge, which only fueled Chaka's ire. She emphasized the importance of sensitivity in media discussions, especially on a platform like The View that reaches millions. Whoopi jumped in, agreeing with Chaka and steering towards unity, but the damage was done. Chaka's voice rose as she elaborated on how such comments perpetuate stereotypes and undermine artists' credibility. Joy, feeling defensive, retorted that the show thrives on honest conversations and that avoiding tough topics does a disservice to viewers. The exchange became a rapid-fire debate, with interruptions and overlapping speech. Sunny tried to insert facts about mental health stigma, but the focus remained on the two clashing personalities. The audience was divided. Some cheered Chaka's assertiveness, others appreciated Joy's candor. Behind the scenes, producers signaled for a wrap-up, but the on-air energy was electric. Chaka expressed disappointment in the direction of the interview, saying she came to promote positivity, not defend her life choices. Joy countered that challenging questions lead to deeper insights, but Chaka shook her head, visibly upset. Sarah Haynes offered a conciliatory comment, praising both women's contributions to entertainment, yet it fell flat amid the tension. As the segment progressed, Chaka's responses grew curt, her patience wearing thin. She glanced at the clock, perhaps wishing for an end. Joy, sensing the rift, tried to lighten with a self-deprecating joke, but Chaka didn't laugh. The clash highlighted generational and experiential differences, turning what could have been a harmonious chat into a memorable confrontation. Viewers at home tweeted furiously, with hashtags like #Chaka vs Joy trending. The hosts pushed through, but the air was thick with unresolved conflict. Finally, Chaka reached her limit when Joy questioned her endorsement of certain causes, implying inconsistency. Chaka slammed her hand on the table lightly, declaring that enough was enough. In the heat of the moment, Chaka Khan stood up abruptly, her chair scraping against the floor, drawing shocked gasps from the audience and co-hosts alike. She declared, "I'm not here to be disrespected like this," her voice echoing through the studio. Joy Behar looked stunned, protesting that no disrespect was intended, but Chaka was already removing her microphone pack. Whoopi called out for calm, urging Chaka to sit back down and continue the discussion, emphasizing that The View is a place for open dialogue. However, Chaka shook her head firmly, stating that she wouldn't tolerate being talked over or her experiences minimized. Sunny and Sarah expressed regret, apologizing on behalf of the panel, but Chaka's decision was made. She thanked the audience for their support and walked off the set with poise. Though her strides were purposeful and swift, the cameras followed her briefly until she disappeared backstage. The remaining hosts sat in awkward silence for a beat before Whoopi addressed the viewers, explaining that passions run high on important topics. Joy appeared flustered, muttering that she meant no harm and admired Chaka greatly. The show cut to commercial hastily, leaving the audience buzzing. Social media exploded with reactions. Fans praised Chaka for standing her ground, while others debated Joy's interviewing style. Clips of the clash went viral, amassing millions of views within hours. Analysts on other networks dissected the moment, speculating on what triggered the walk-off. Chaka's team issued a statement later, clarifying that she left due to feeling unheard, but harbored no ill will. Joy tweeted an apology, expressing hope for future reconciliation. The incident sparked broader conversations about guest treatment on talk shows and the line between probing and provoking. Back in the studio, the hosts regrouped for the next segment, but the energy was subdued. Whoopi reflected on the value of diverse viewpoints, turning the mishap into a teachable moment. Viewers tuned in record numbers for the replay, making it one of The View's most talked about episodes. After Chaka Khan's dramatic exit, the co-hosts of The View attempted to salvage the remainder of the show, shifting to lighter topics like celebrity news and hot products. Whoopi Goldberg acknowledged the intensity of the previous segment, joking that things got a bit too real. Joy Behar, still visibly shaken, reiterated her respect for Chaka and clarified her intentions, hoping to smooth over the controversy. Sunny Hostin added that such clashes highlight the importance of empathy in discussions. Sarah Haynes praised Chaka's artistry, playing a clip of one of her songs to honor her absence. The audience applauded, showing support for all involved. Backstage, Chaka reportedly cooled down with her entourage, later sharing on social media that she stands by her principles. Fans flooded her accounts with messages of solidarity, turning the incident into a rallying point for artist advocacy. Media outlets covered the story extensively, with headlines blaring about the heated clash. Pundits analyzed body language and dialogue, some siding with Chaka, others with Joy. The View's ratings spiked, proving that controversy sells. In interviews following the event, Chaka expressed no regret, stating it was necessary to set boundaries. Joy, in a subsequent appearance, admitted she could have phrased things better. The fallout led to discussions on talk show formats and guest comfort. Other celebrities weighed in, sharing similar experiences. The episode became a case study in media training programs. Weeks later, rumors of a reconciliation surfaced, with Whoopi mediating a potential return. Chaka's music saw a resurgence in streams, introducing her to new generations. Joy's book sales ticked up amid the buzz. Ultimately, the clash humanized both women, showing vulnerability in public figures. The View continued, with hosts more mindful of tone. Viewers debated online, fostering community around the show. This moment etched itself into pop culture lore, referenced in memes and parodies. In the days following Chaka Khan's storm off from The View, the entertainment world buzzed with opinions and analyses. Late-night hosts like Jimmy Fallon and Stephen Colbert poked fun at the incident in their monologues, recreating the clash with exaggerated impressions. Chaka appeared on other platforms, like podcasts and radio shows, to share her side, emphasizing empowerment and respect. Joy Behar addressed it on subsequent episodes, turning it into a learning opportunity about communication. The View invited experts on conflict resolution to discuss handling disagreements gracefully. Social media polls showed a split public, with many applauding Chaka's boldness. Music critics revisited her discography, highlighting her influence. The event inspired think pieces on feminism, race, and media dynamics. Chaka's fans organized virtual listening parties, boosting her legacy. Joy received both backlash and support, with some calling for her to tone down her style. Whoopi Goldberg acted as peacemaker, publicly inviting Chaka back. Eventually, a joint statement hinted at mutual understanding. The clash, while heated, sparked positive change in how talk shows approach sensitive topics. Chaka's career flourished, with new collaborations announced. Joy continued her role, wiser from the experience. The View's producers implemented guidelines for guest interactions. Viewers remained engaged, tuning in for potential drama. This episode reminded everyone that even icons have limits. In retrospect, it became a pivotal moment for authenticity in television. Chaka Khan emerged stronger, her voice not just in song but in advocacy. Joy Behar's candor, though controversial, kept the show relevant. The story faded from headlines but left an indelible mark on participants and audience alike. Years later, it might be recounted as a legendary TV moment, blending conflict with resolution.